You're listening to the Situation Today podcast with Gulf Business. If you'd like to learn more about the latest business stories in the GCC region, please visit www.gulfbusiness.com. I'm Gareth Van Sale for Gulf Business, and it's a pleasure to have with me today Faraz Al-Masadi, who is the founder and chief executive officer of FAM Properties. Faraz, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for coming. Thank you for having me.
So can you tell me about what FAM Properties does exactly?
FAM Properties is a brokerage company. It's actually the largest brokerage company ever built in Dubai, and the most geographically spread company. We have 26 branches from Dubai Creek Harbor all the way to Dubai South. The largest sales force, about 650 real estate agents, and the plan is 1,500 real estate agents by end of next year. We're also the most technologically advanced real estate company. We came up with the DXB Interact, which is a platform that took the transparency of the real estate market to the next level. Really, it shows you all the transaction history for rent and sale. So essentially anyone can find out how much any property was sold or rented for in Dubai. And it's something we really, I would say, proud of, because it has changed the way real estate agents in this market conduct their business.
And I'm really interested in the backstory to you and how you started this business as well, because obviously you came to Dubai with big dreams, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. So basically I arrived to Dubai back in 15 December 2005. Basically I did an interview. I'm originally from Syria. I did an interview with one of the fashion retail companies here in Dubai. I got hired. I came here. I did about 1.5 years working for that company in a retail shop, selling clothes basically. And then I took my vacation. Was 25 days. I did real estate because it's a commission-based only job, and I couldn't just drop the salary that I had, which was 5,500 back then, and jump straight into a commission job based basically. And it's an industry that was completely new to me. I've never done real estate in my life. So I did 25 days. I liked it. Then when I stepped into the office, I saw people like wearing fancy clothes, driving nice cars, and conducting business, and none of them had wings. So I thought, if these guys can do it, I can really do it and take it to the next level. So I went back, resigned, and then I joined the real estate industry, did about a year. And then I started FAM Properties back in 2009, which was basically the peak of not just the financial crisis, it was the peak of the real estate crisis, because it was the real estate bubble that bursted back then in the US, and then it came all over the world. Fast forward, today we're, like I said, the largest real estate company in Dubai.
And before I get into the financial crisis, I'd like to know what is it about real estate that makes you tick? Yeah. What is it about it that gets you up in the morning and gets you going?
I think when I was working in the fashion shop, and I wanted to be in the leverage industry as well. And I had many interviews. Some of these interviews were with real estate companies, some was with insurance companies. But then real estate was, for me, like, back then, 2/3 of the world's cranes were in Dubai. And obviously all the architectural design of the city was like a wow for me, because I came from Syria, from Homs. So I was already impressed with all the skyscrapers in Dubai. And also it's a business that pays you according to your experience. So if you're in manufacturing business or in trading business, if you want to make more, then you have to invest a lot more. In real estate, it's purely your experience and your network. So the more experience you have, the higher ticket you can sell, or the more you can sell, and the more you can sell, the more you can generate, basically.
And to get back to the 2009 period, because obviously that was almost one of those moments in the city of Dubai where everything changed. Can you tell me what was going through your head when you just started this business and suddenly everything was changing around you?
I mean, in general, I always take calculated risks. I never take a risk that I can't afford. So now thinking about it, it wasn't like a risky move. And I had the same mindset at the time I did it, because I felt if there was one sales transaction that would happen in Dubai, why not me? And with all the inventory that was there, all these towers, all these skyscrapers, I thought if my job was just literally just to evacuate, to exit investors from Dubai who got in the past years, I'll make a big success in the process, and I can create a wealth in the process. So for me, I think many people were overly sentimental, and many people lost objectivity in the decision-making process, you know, and they just lost hope and were too emotional about what was happening. I remember, I mean, people left their cars on the roads. I remember people just, you know, dragging their suitcases behind them and just moving from one place to another. But for me, again, it was a very calculated risk that I took. I remember I rented an office space, one contract, 3 years, and the interior design company that did the design for me, they said, like, are you sure you want to do it? Like, you're a lunatic. Everyone's exiting the market. Yeah, but for me, it was very clear. Like, every single square foot in Dubai is meant to be sold or rented, and someone has to do that transaction.
So what is it that you did that was different to anybody else in the market? Because from that moment on, you've built this big business now. I mean, it's the number one, you know, agency. I mean, it's incredible what you've done. How did you actually go about doing it?
I think at some point in time, I thought, like, even if you open a shawarma place in Dubai, if you run it for 3-4 years, it becomes a business of value. Like, it will have an evaluation. It's a business that you can sell. It's an asset. But real estate companies, and unless you get it to a very large scale, it's worth nothing. Like, today, a company that has 40, 50 real estate agents, I think no one would buy it, because it has no assets. The minute the agents leave, then the company has no value. And I decided to really take the company to a very corporate level where it is of value, and also it's big enough for everyone involved to prosper. And that was the trigger of the idea of scaling. And then, of course, I leveraged a lot on my brother's tech knowledge. He's the tech guru. He's behind all the tech in the company. So I think what I did differently, honestly, is I saw an opportunity. Maybe others did see it, but they didn't take actions. And normally, even those who start taking actions, most of them quit in the process. So I think I had really the ownership to closure.
So what's interesting there is that you mentioned that your brother heads up the technology side, and I'm keen to learn more about that and some of the IP that you guys have developed as well, which has helped you to get to that point. Can you tell me more?
Yeah. I mean, when I mentioned at the start, I said we're the most technologically advanced real estate company in Dubai. Is basically our tech is what enabled us to scale. Because if you want to scale, you need obviously to have your governance, your processes in place, but you need to also have a lot of digitalization and automation. Also to have 26 different branches in different locations. In order for you to manage, you need to have like a top-notch ERP system and CRM and SRM. So we've built everything on an Oracle-based platform, which is scalable, which enabled our scalability. And then also, my brother was the founder of DXP Interact. That's another massive testament to our tech abilities. It's based, as I mentioned, it's basically a platform that allows everyone to see how much any property was sold or rented for in Dubai. You can study the supply, you can study the demand, you can study demographics. I mean, anything. And because we have the street knowledge of doing real estate, we really know what a real estate investor, a buyer, a seller, or even a tenant, or a real estate developer, or a property evaluator, what information and data they need to know in order for them to make a well-informed decision. And of course, nothing would have come to place if not the direction from Dubai government and the Dubai Land Department, because they wanted to continue to attract more and more foreign investment. And of course, the Open Data Source Initiative of His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid was also the trigger for us to start. It was a long journey, very painful journey, because at the start no one really believed in data. You tell real estate agents, hey, you can use data and stuff. They say no, but if you make it open to everyone, how can we sell? If they find out what the truth is, then they won't buy from us. And again, we saw an opportunity in that. We saw an opportunity to introduce more transparency to the market, because my part of the business is I handle the sales, the business development side. Sales is in my blood, basically. And I think the greatest salespeople on earth who have long-lasting success are those who know how to sell the truth. And even if the data is available to everyone, you still need someone to come and read the data and interpret the data and correlate the data positively with what's actually happening in the market. And that's a role we saw a great opportunity in playing. Like I said, it wasn't easy, but today it became the trend, the norm in the market.
So in many respects, you were leading the charge in terms of that transparency movement.
Yeah.
And I think today we see that everywhere in the market now. There's great pressure on property providers and real estate agents to actually provide that data, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I remember the data were limited to 1 or 2 companies, and they limited it only by subscription, only to real estate agents. But they were also preaching real estate agents and saying, okay, if you're dealing with the seller, choose the lowest transactions selectively and then give a report so you can convince the seller to sell below market. And that also, again, goes against our value system as a company. And that was actually the moment where we decided, my brother said, that's it, like we will do our own. And then we worked with, through Dubai Pulse and with the government, whatever data the government was sharing publicly, and we built it up.
And can you tell me more about some of your interactions with the government? I believe you've worked with the likes of the Dubai Land Department, as you alluded to. Can you tell us about how you've actually actively helped them create a better market for everybody?
The result of the collaboration is actually the success that you see in the market, I think, across different industries. And I really love how the Dubai government operates. So they always listen to the private sector. They don't compete with the private, they listen to the private sector. And then obviously they have their own directions to take the city to the next level. And I think there's a great opportunity for every company, every stakeholder in the market to ride on the giant's shoulders and to take their business to the next level with the government. So obviously DXB Interact is the biggest, I would say, collaboration between us and Dubai Land Department. But also we worked with them a lot on the regulatory side, especially in particular, most recently on the advertising permits. As you know, if you go online historically, just maybe 6 months ago, you go online to real estate portals and you find maybe 80% of the listed properties are actually not available, or the prices are wrong, or a lot of fake ads, because the governance was not strict enough. I think I was the only one in the market leaving my business and going to the Land Department with my brother, and we addressing these issues in the advertising permits, and I mean, we're very proud of what the government actually has done and the Dubai Land Department has done, because they've really taken our concerns seriously. They obviously verified it, they did their own homework, and then they realized it's for the best interest of the market. And I think the market came a long way since we started this collaboration with the government. I mean, I think 50% of the online listings they're gone, because now it's all genuine listings for sales. And it's a continuous process, so it's an ongoing process that we're working closely with the Land Department to ensure that the improvement continues.
And I'm curious to know what your thoughts are on how that's going to change the market, because it was quite a sudden move by the government here to actually implement it, and it's admirable of them to move so quickly as well. But how do you think that that's going to play out now in the coming weeks and months?
I think there's massive impact on every stakeholder. It depends who you're talking about. But for example, if you're talking about property sellers, demand and supply is a very important equation here. And if there was so much of fake supply online, it's no good for a property seller. So basically, essentially, real estate agents were marketing properties on wrong prices or underpricing properties with their online ads that goes live on real estate portals just to attract a lead. And then when the buyer calls, they say, okay, this is not available, I can give you something else. The game was who can put the lowest price, whether it's available real or not, it doesn't matter. Who can place the lowest price on portals so they can attract a lead. And to a certain degree for real estate portals, although they try their best, obviously, to have genuine listings online, but also every new ad, when the process was not governed properly, every new ad is also a financial benefit for the portal because they charge for these ads to go live. So when every real estate agent who just came to the market can list 1,000 properties without actually having proper contracts back to the sellers, it wasn't something bad for real estate portals. So again, back to how this impacted the market, I think now the supply side is more transparent and more accurate. So as a seller today, if I go to portals to check how much the properties similar properties are advertised, I know that these advertised prices are real prices. As a buyer, I won't waste my time, and now my decision-making process will be much faster because now I know if I see that something's for 2 million, it means it's for 2 million. I don't have to call 100 real estate agents to find one genuine property. For real estate brokers, of course, for the entry barrier now is higher because previously any new real estate agent can come to the market and just take properties online without having proper contracts with sellers. Now it's different. Now you need to do the job properly. Now as a real estate agent, if you don't know how to talk to sellers, then you won't be able to list any property. Then you're kind of out of business. For real estate developers, it's also great because you don't have fake competition in the market. So from a data and statistics standpoint, now we can measure so many important parameters that we couldn't measure before. So now, for example, if you want to measure the absorption rate in the market, how many properties are advertised, and out of this number of properties, how many were sold within 3 months. Now, this is a very important indicator that we were unable to verify before. So many things, so many trends that we can read now with genuine property listings that we couldn't read before.
And because you've got all this access and insights into the data that you've got, what are you seeing in the property market right now? Because the market has been red hot here in Dubai for the last 24 months or so. I think last year prices were up in many places north of 20%.
Correct.
What is going to happen next, do you think, especially from your perspective as you've seen it all?
I don't have a crystal ball, but I can tell you based on my reading to the market fundamentals today and to the historical data and statistics, I think Dubai passed the stage of any severe cyclicality. I think the global positioning in Dubai has been cemented now more than ever before. Dubai has proven its long-term ability to continuously attract new residents and foreign investors. Also the proven high level of agility to actually turn any challenge into an opportunity. When we had the flood, for example, with the storm that took place in Dubai, that was probably less than a month back. Today you see the work literally on the roads. They started on the roads. The Crown Prince announced that they allocated 80 billion dirhams budget for the sewer system. And 2 or 3 weeks later, you see that the actual work has started. So I think all these things collectively, including also the expo that was a stage to showcase the world what Dubai has to offer, and so many other things, government initiatives that took place in the past 10 years, now we're seeing the results. So now Dubai has a different global position. And I think every time I travel outside, I see the gap in quality of life between here and probably anywhere else. I travel all over the world, obviously. So I think we passed the stage of severe cyclicality. I have concerns, obviously, with the oversupply situation of off-plan properties. The off-plan market is extremely hot, but also there are so many newcomers to the city. And I think also when you look at the macroeconomics, you see that inflation problem is there, and I don't think there is a solution for it. It's either, God forbid, the worldwide war or a dollar collapse or. So to protect the value of your money, of your wealth, you need to place it in an asset class. And I think real estate is one of the easiest asset class to understand. I always say you need to always control what you invest in, and to control what you invest in, you need to understand what you're investing in. And I think there are so many good things that you can invest in, but not necessarily as easy as real estate to understand, because everyone is either a tenant or a landlord, so I think today booking and placing money on an off-plan property in Dubai, you're also booking an asset on today's market value, and it's going to be delivered in 2 to 3 years. So that's going to be something amazing, just against inflation, against the value. Think how much your dollar will buy today versus last year and the year before. Even as simple as when you go to the grocery. It's crazy. Prices are like skyrocketing everywhere. Construction material, everything. So yes, I worry a bit about the off-plan supply. But I think long as we're seeing the traffic on the roads in Dubai, we're fine. I think the demand is very healthy, and I think it's sustainable as well.
So just on that point, are you conversely seeing healthy demand for the off-plan units that are coming online, or is there still a gap that exists there?
See, the demand for off-plan never stopped in Dubai. It's very easy to sell off-plan. But I think when you see a price gap growing between the off-plan property market price and the resale prices, that's the worry. Because whoever buys off-plan, it's almost like it's a 50-50 myth in Dubai, that if you buy every off-plan property you buy, when it's handed over, you make money. Sometimes you buy an off-plan property, or you're offered an off-plan property that's selling today at the time of buying higher than what you would buy a ready property for. Because obviously there's a lot of marketing involved, and if the developer doesn't care so much about what happens next with the investor and the relationship between the developer and the investor, then they can put prices as high as possible, and they can just pay higher commissions, and real estate agents will push. I hope not every real estate agent. I mean, certain developers in Dubai, in 17 years, I've never sold one single square foot for them, because I know that if I sell this particular property at this price, the investor will never come back to me. And I think there's a greater aspect to it as well, at the human level, that sometimes you have, a father or whatever, a husband or a family coming to invest, and all their life saving is basically going to be placed in a property. And if you sell them something overpriced, you would literally destroy like a lifetime saving. You're destroying a family. I know that we deviated a bit on where I see the market, but I think investors have to do their homework. That's why actually I came up with my book, because I've really exposed all the good and bad about the real estate market in general. And it doesn't just apply to Dubai, it's everywhere. You have the real estate developers who are in the business of new buyers. So they know that there are enough people in the world to target. They don't care about a future referral or repeated business with their buyers, so they really kill them with prices. And you have real estate developers who are in the long-term game. They want to do repeated business. They want to work with the same people. They want to get referrals. They want to have a healthy name in the market. So there's a great deal of responsibility on the investor as well, that they need to do their homework. They need to understand what they're investing in, who they're buying from, who they're dealing with.
I'm also interested today talking about your book as to what was the motivation from your end to write a book, because even this takes quite a lot of discipline to do. What was the key driver for you to put a book out on this particular topic?
So the motive behind the book is really to give back to Dubai. I feel I owe this to Dubai. I love Dubai. I created generational wealth in Dubai. I came with nothing, and I built my success here. And I think it's a land of opportunities. I think every stakeholder owes it to Dubai, in fact. So it's the same reason why we came up with the Experiencer Act, the same reason why I'm working with the authorities really closely to improve the regulatory of the market. And the first chapter is briefly about myself, and then all the other chapters basically talks about the best practice, the do's and don'ts, what do you need to avoid when you invest in real estate. And I think it applies not just to Dubai market, it applies, to any real estate market in the world somehow, somewhat. It gives you a very methodical process to go about and to follow when it comes to real estate investment. Whether you're an old school investor or you're an institutional or sophisticated investor, it gives you everything A to Z in a very simplified and in a very applicable or practical manner.
So, I love the metaphor of the journey that you've taken and the journey that you bring investors through with this book. And as we get to the end of this interview and our journey here, it's been a fascinating discussion.
Thank you.
And I just wanted to ask you what you see next for FAM Properties going forward. So what is your vision for the next 5 to 10 years? Where do you see the company going?
I think scale is definitely at the heart of the vision. I think we have still a lot of market share to capture in Dubai. But also, obviously, we're looking at Saudi, we're looking at Abu Dhabi. Not necessarily with the brokerage side, but within the real estate space. I don't know if I mentioned before, yes, it's FAM Properties is the core, but because we're a client-centric company, we made sure that we've built in-house all the other subsidiaries that has synergy with FAM Properties, just to increase and to enhance the value we offer to our clients. So we have a real estate development company called Nordic by FAM. Basically, it offers ultra luxury villas, I would say, very Nordic look and feel. Prices starts from 60 to 150 million. And then we have interior design, we have outdoor media, we have conveyancing, we have mortgage brokerage, we have real estate development management, we have FAM Living, which is holiday home business. Basically, we have about 13 companies, and in every business vertical, we've actually delivered a footprint to the market. So, yeah.
Faraz Al-Masadi, it's been an absolute pleasure talking with you, and thank you so much for
likewise. Thank you so much.
You're listening to the Situation Today podcast with Gulf Business. If you'd like to learn more about the latest business stories in the GCC region, please visit www.gulfbusiness.com.